It started with a smile that once lit up the entire Love and Hip Hop franchise. But now that same smile has become a mask for something darker, something toxic. Yandy Smith and Mendeecees Harris, once hailed as one of reality TV's most inspirational couples, are now caught in the center of a storm that has fans whispering, "Is this love or control?" Their marriage, once built on loyalty and sacrifice, has turned into a battlefield of mistrust, resentment, and emotional warfare. What was supposed to be a fairy tale, after prison and pain, is now unfolding as one of the most chaotic chapters in love and hip-hop history. It all began with small cracks that no one paid attention to. A missed call here, a cold stare there. But according to people close to the couple, Yandy's patience has reached its breaking point, and Mendeecees' temper has become impossible to ignore. "They argue over everything now," said one insider. "Money, parenting, even who gets more attention online." Fans noticed it too, though. Once affectionate Instagram captions stopped, the couple stopped filming together as often. Even on red carpets, Yandy's laughter looked forced, and Mendeecees' eyes told a story he didn't want anyone to read. Behind closed doors, things got even worse. Sources claim that Mendeecees has accused Yandy of being more focused on her brand than their marriage, saying she turned their love into a business. In return, Yandy reportedly snapped back, calling him ungrateful and emotionally unavailable. One heated argument allegedly got so intense that cameras had to stop rolling during filming for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. The tension was unbearable, with crew members claiming they'd never seen Yandy so angry or Mendeecees so cold. "You're not the man I married," Yandy allegedly shouted before storming off set, leaving everyone in shock. The internet exploded within hours. Fans began dissecting every detail, from Yandy's cryptic posts about protecting her peace to Mendeecees' sudden silence online. Even their closest friends like Rashida and Kirk Frost were said to be concerned. Some fans begged them to work it out, while others declared, "It's time Yandy walks away." But the story didn't stop there. What came next sent the entire LHH community into chaos. A leaked audio that hinted at betrayal, secrets, and something much deeper than the public ever imagined. Now, everyone is asking the same question. What really happened to Yandy and Mendeecees? Were they ever truly in love or just playing a part for the cameras? Stay tuned, because what's coming next will change everything you thought you knew about one of Love and Hip Hop's most iconic couples. The tension in Yandy and Mendeecees' house had been simmering for months, though most fans saw nothing but picture-perfect posts and smiling selfies. Behind closed doors, emotions ran high, accusations were thrown like knives, and the family was left divided in ways nobody could have imagined. It all started one late night after filming wrapped for the latest episode of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Yandy had returned home exhausted from back-to-back meetings with her management team, and Mendeecees was already pacing the living room, his frustration visible in every sharp movement. "You don't even see what I'm doing for this family," he snapped, his voice echoing off the walls. Yandy froze for a moment, her eyes narrowing. She had heard that line before, but the intensity tonight was different, heavier, darker. "I'm doing everything I can, Mend. Everything." She shot back, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and exhaustion. The argument escalated quickly, the kind that could have erupted over the smallest things, but tonight found fuel in months of unresolved resentment. Friends close to the couple claimed that the tension wasn't new but had intensified after Mendeecees' recent business setbacks. One insider revealed, he feels like he's losing control over Yandy. He used to be the rock, the man she leaned on, but now he's questioning everything, her time, her attention, even the way she interacts with their kids. Yandy, on the other hand, reportedly felt trapped between her ambitions and the increasing weight of her marriage. Fans might see the glamorous events, the red carpets, the perfectly timed Instagram posts, but behind the scenes, the stress was suffocating. "They're not just arguing about trivial things anymore," the source added. "It's about respect, loyalty, and control. Every little comment has become a weapon." One evening, the situation reached a boiling point when Mendeecees found a series of emails from Yandy's business team, discussing potential collaborations that he hadn't been included in. "So this is how it is. You don't need me anymore," he reportedly said, his voice low but sharp, each word dripping with venom. Yandy, exhausted and emotional, stood her ground. "Don't twist this into something it's not," she replied. "I'm building something for our family, yes, but I am still here, still trying to make us work." According to the source, that conversation turned into hours of back-and-forth shouting, accusations of neglect, and even veiled threats about secrets that could shake the family if made public. It was the kind of argument where every sentence cut deep, and the room felt smaller. almost suffocating with the energy of two people who had once promised each other forever but were now questioning if forever was ever real. The children, though young, reportedly felt the tension and would retreat to their rooms when arguments reached their peak. Insiders claimed that the kids had started noticing when mom and dad were upset, sometimes crying quietly in corners. Friends say Yandy often tried to shield them from the worst of it, but no child can be completely unaware when a home is filled with constant bickering. They're kids, said one close family friend. They can sense everything. Every fight leaves a mark. Mendeecees, on his end, often wrestled with guilt. He wanted to be the strong figure, the protector of his family. Yet somehow, the weight of perceived betrayals and unmet expectations had turned him into someone distant, even cold. The combination was toxic, a recipe for nights filled with sleepless tension and days punctuated by passive-aggressive remarks. The drama didn't stay confined to the home. Fans began noticing cracks in their public appearances too. At one recent event, Yandy appeared radiant on the red carpet, her usual confidence shining through, but Mendeecees' expression told a different story. Eyes that once sparkled with affection were now shadowed with frustration. Crew members and photographers whispered among themselves, noting the subtle tension in every glance and almost every touch or lack thereof. Social media erupted within hours, with fans dissecting body language, caption choices, and interactions. "Something's wrong," said one fan comment. "Look at how tense he looks next to her." The couple didn't address the rumors, but insiders say that the silence only fueled speculation and tension, making the environment even more volatile. One of the most shocking moments insiders revealed was a leaked, private conversation between the two that hinted at betrayal and unspoken grievances. According to the source, Mendeecees accused Yandy of putting her career above their marriage repeatedly, saying, "You care more about followers and brand deals than this family." Yandy reportedly responded with a trembling voice, "And you think I don't do everything for us? I'm here, Mendeecees. I'm fighting for us every single day." The argument reportedly escalated into personal attacks, with both parties digging up past mistakes and grievances, each accusation hitting harder than the last. The source claims it was one of the most intense exchanges the couple had ever had, leaving both emotionally drained and silent afterward, sitting in the same room but worlds apart. Friends also hinted that family members had tried to intervene, but it often only made matters worse. "Everyone has an opinion," said one insider. "Sometimes it helps. Sometimes it ignites more fire." Rashida, Kirk, and even some mutual friends tried talking to them, but the tension was too thick. Every word, every suggestion became a trigger for more conflict. Rumors began circulating that the couple had brief periods of calm, where they'd try to act like the loving partners fans knew, only for the anger and resentment to resurface moments later. It was this roller coaster of emotions that made the situation not only dramatic but unpredictable, with each day bringing a new twist to the story that fans were desperate to follow. Even their social media presence became a battleground. Yandy's posts about self-care, empowerment, and protecting her peace were dissected as veiled messages to Mendeecees. On the other side, Mendeecees' silence and occasional cryptic posts were interpreted as signs of brewing storms. Fans began theorizing about secret meetings, private calls, and hidden conversations, making the situation explode into what insiders called public obsession meets private chaos. The couple's friends reportedly urged them to get professional help, suggesting therapy and mediation, but both Yandy and Mendeecees resisted, feeling that exposing their vulnerabilities would give the wrong impression to the public and fans who had supported them for years. Sources close to the couple say that the arguments were not only emotional but occasionally physical in nature, gestures, slammed doors, and intense confrontations that left both parties shaken. One source described a particularly dramatic night where Mendeecees reportedly threw a phone across the room after a heated argument about a business deal, while Yandy packed her bags for what seemed like a possible temporary walkout. "It was intense," the source said. "They love each other, but the toxicity had built up so much that every little disagreement became catastrophic." Despite these chaotic moments, both seemed trapped in the marriage, bound by love, loyalty, and the public eye. Friends noted that leaving wasn't an easy choice. The stakes were high, the scrutiny unbearable, and the consequences for the children unimaginable. What made the situation even more volatile were the outside influences, including friends, fans, and other reality stars who weighed in, knowingly or unknowingly escalating the drama. Insiders claim that whispers about who is right and who is wrong became daily fuel, with social media comments sometimes shared between the couple, igniting further arguments. "The outside world became part of the problem," said one source. they couldn't escape the noise. Every post, every comment, every like became a weapon in their ongoing battle. It was this mixture of personal grievances, public attention, and a constant need to maintain appearances that created an environment ripe for the chaos fans could only glimpse from afar. Despite the arguments and accusations, moments of tenderness still existed, though fleeting and often overshadowed by the toxicity. Friends revealed that there were nights when Mendeecees would apologize, his voice heavy with emotion, and Yandy would quietly forgive, longing for the stability and love that had once defined their relationship. They have history, memories, and kids that tie them together, said one insider. Sometimes, it's just enough to pause the fight, to remind each other why they fell in love. But those moments are short-lived, because the tension always comes back, bigger and more intense than before. The cycle of love, conflict, and reconciliation became the defining rhythm of their marriage, leaving everyone involved, family, friends, and fans caught in the suspense of what might happen next. As the weeks passed, new conflicts emerged, each more shocking than the last. According to sources, financial disagreements over joint investments, parenting decisions, and even household chores became battlegrounds. Yandy reportedly accused Mendeecees of undermining her authority with the kids, while Mendeecees fired back that Yandy was being controlling and dismissive of his role as a father. The arguments, according to insiders, often spilled into the late hours, sometimes resulting in tears, sometimes in silence, and occasionally, in explosive confrontations that left both parties questioning if they could survive the next day together. Friends and insiders hinted at more drama bubbling under the surface, rumors of old friends, past acquaintances, and unresolved betrayals that surfaced just when the couple tried to rebuild peace. It's like playing a game of emotional chess, said one source. Every move, every word, every glance is calculated, remembered, and sometimes used against the other. The family is constantly walking on eggshells. Fans watching from the outside could only speculate, but those close to Yandy and Mendeecees knew the truth was far more intense than any social media post or on-camera interaction could ever reveal. The tension reached another peak during a filmed reunion for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, where emotions ran uncontrollably high. Crew members claimed that at one point, Yandy walked off set mid-interview, tears streaming, while Mendeecees remained seated, jaw tight, fists clenched. It was unreal, said one production insider. The family was left divided, and the energy on set was almost unbearable. You could feel the storm hovering over them the entire day. Sources confirmed that after filming, both parties retreated into private conversations, attempting to salvage what they could, but the underlying resentment remained, like a ticking time bomb waiting for the next spark. Friends described a particularly shocking moment where both parties reportedly confronted each other over past infidelities. Rumored in social circles, Yandy allegedly revealed a secret she had kept for years, while Mendeecees responded with accusations that hit deep into their shared history. Emotions ran high, voices were raised, and the room reportedly felt charged with electricity. Insiders claimed that at one point, Yandy screamed, "I can't do this anymore if you don't see me," to which Mendeecees replied coldly, "I see you, but I can't see us like this." The exchange reportedly left everyone around them shaken, unsure if the couple would ever find common ground. Sources close to the couple say that despite all the chaos, they were still trying to hold on to the marriage, for themselves, their children, and the image they had built over the years. They fight, they argue, they scream, but they also love each other in a way that outsiders can't understand, said one insider. It's messy, emotional, and sometimes toxic, but it's real. And maybe that's why neither of them can let go. Fans, meanwhile, remained obsessed with every detail, dissecting posts, interviews, and even casual comments for clues. Every interaction became fuel for speculation, leaving the couple under constant scrutiny, trapped in a cycle of drama that seemed endless. As the night fell on another day filled with tension, friends reported that Yandy and Mendeecees sat in silence for hours after a particularly explosive argument. The air between them was heavy with unspoken words, guilt, and lingering love. They were both exhausted, said one source, but there was a sense that neither could walk away. Not yet, not after everything they've been through. The house, once filled with laughter, was now a place where every sound, every movement, carried the weight of months of unresolved conflict. The family was left divided, emotions raw, and the future uncertain. As fans and insiders alike waited to see what would happen next in the turbulent saga of Yandy and Mendeecees' marriage, the following weeks after that explosive night only intensified the chaos in Yandy and Mendeecees' household. Friends say the atmosphere became almost unbearable, with arguments erupting over the smallest things: a misaligned calendar, a forgotten text, even differences in parenting choices. Insiders revealed that Yandy had started keeping a journal, meticulously documenting every conflict, every slight, every conversation that left her feeling unheard or disrespected. She felt like she needed a record of everything, said one source, because otherwise, it would all just get twisted in the heat of the moment. Meanwhile, Mendeecees was reportedly retreating further into silence, sometimes leaving the house to drive aimlessly, just to escape the tension. He wasn't running away, explained a close friend. He was trying to find space to breathe before he exploded. This pattern of conflict, retreat, and brief reconciliation became the couple's daily routine, and everyone around them started to feel the ripple effects. The tension began spilling over into public appearances and social media interactions. Fans noticed subtle jabs in captions, half-hearted smiles at events, and body language that screamed discomfort. One insider said that Yandy's team started advising her on how to navigate these moments, warning her to avoid public confrontations but also to maintain her image of strength and grace. It was a tightrope, the insider explained. Every word, every post, every gesture had to be carefully calculated to avoid fueling more drama while still showing the world that she was holding it together. Mendeecees, on the other hand, was reportedly frustrated by the constant scrutiny, feeling that no one could understand the complexity of his emotions. His friends claimed he often muttered, "Nobody sees the real battle. Everyone thinks it's about money or fame. It's not. They don't see the love that's still there." One night, according to sources, a particularly intense argument escalated when Mendeecees confronted Yandy about her late-night meetings. "Why are you always disappearing?" he allegedly shouted, his voice shaking with a mixture of anger and fear. Yandy, exhausted from a 14-hour day, snapped back, "I'm working for us, for our future. You think staying home and brooding helps anyone?" The argument reportedly spiraled, with both parties digging into past grievances, unresolved issues, and long-held resentments. Friends say that the shouting matched the emotional intensity of a full-blown storm, leaving both exhausted, drained, and unsure if they could find a way to repair the cracks that had formed over years. Additionally, sources revealed that financial disputes had become a significant flashpoint. Yandy had been managing several business ventures, from real estate investments to brand partnerships, which occasionally clashed with Mendeecees' plans and expectations. "It wasn't just money," said an insider. "It was about control, respect, and acknowledgement." Mendeecees felt excluded from decisions he once felt he had a say in, and Yandy felt undermined for trying to create stability and growth. Friends claimed that these tensions often led to private confrontations that were far more intense than anything fans had witnessed on camera. "What happens behind closed doors would shock most people," one source added. "They love each other, but the intensity of that love can also hurt them deeply." The drama extended into parenting, with both parties becoming hypercritical of each other's choices. Yandy allegedly felt that Mendeecees was too lenient with the kids, while he believed that she was too controlling. Minor disagreements, like bedtime routines or homework schedules, reportedly exploded into full-blown arguments, sometimes lasting late into the night. "It's exhausting for everyone," said a family friend. "The kids feel it, the staff feels it, even the people who work on filming can sense the tension. It's like walking through a minefield of emotions." The family dynamic became complicated, leaving both parents torn between the desire to maintain peace and the inability to let go of long-standing frustrations. In an unexpected twist, insiders revealed that old friends and acquaintances occasionally added fuel to the fire, either intentionally or inadvertently. Whispers of past relationships, misunderstandings, or minor betrayals would resurface, reigniting arguments that had long seemed dormant. "It's like poking a hornet's nest," said one source. One small comment, one text, and suddenly everything comes crashing down again. The couple, despite their experience navigating public scrutiny, reportedly struggled to manage these outside pressures, feeling attacked not only by each other but by the world around them. At one point, friends claimed that Yandy attempted to stage a temporary separation, hoping that distance might help calm the storm. She reportedly packed her essentials and prepared to stay with a close friend for a few days. Mendeecees, however, refused to let her leave without confrontation. "Don't go thinking this fixes anything," he allegedly warned, his tone a mixture of desperation and authority. The ensuing conversation reportedly lasted hours, with both parties alternately crying, shouting, and pleading, highlighting the emotional complexity of their relationship. The tension during that night, insiders claimed, left both physically and mentally drained, yet unwilling to step away completely. Another source revealed a shocking private conversation in which both parties admitted lingering doubts but also undeniable love. "I don't know if I can do this anymore," Mendeecees allegedly confessed, voice low and raw. "But I can't imagine life without you either." Yandy reportedly responded, "I feel the same. I hate that we hurt each other so much, but I can't just walk away from the life we built." The duality of love and toxicity became painfully clear. Neither could entirely let go. Yet neither could fully heal without confronting the underlying issues. Friends described the exchange as heartbreaking and real, a testament to the emotional intensity that had come to define their marriage. The outside world continued to weigh heavily on both of them. Fans speculated endlessly, some siding with Yandy, some with Mendeecees, creating a constant pressure to maintain appearances while grappling with private turmoil. Insiders noted that the couple often found themselves discussing the balance between privacy and transparency, aware that every post, every caption, and every public appearance would be scrutinized and interpreted, sometimes inaccurately. "They can't win," said a source. "Any move they make will be overanalyzed, misrepresented, and judged. It's a lot to handle, and it certainly doesn't help the tension at home." As if the emotional turbulence wasn't enough, a shocking revelation allegedly surfaced from someone close to the family. According to sources, private conversations hinted at secrets that could shatter trust permanently. While details remain unclear, insiders suggest that these secrets involved personal betrayals and miscommunications that had been festering for years. "It's like every argument had layers of hidden truths," said one insider. "And once those truths came to light, everything intensified. What was already a storm turned into a hurricane." The couple reportedly spent long nights trying to navigate these revelations, sometimes succeeding, often failing, and always returning to the same cycle of tension and love. Friends revealed that despite the chaos, moments of tenderness occasionally broke through. A shared laugh over a family joke, a brief touch on the arm, a quiet conversation in the kitchen. These fleeting glimpses reminded them, and those close to them, that love was still present, buried beneath layers of resentment and exhaustion. "They're complicated," said a close friend. "They hurt each other, they fight, but they also care deeply. It's messy, yes, but it's real. And that's why they can't seem to walk away, no matter how toxic it gets." These brief moments, however, were not enough to quell the ongoing tension or resolve the deeply rooted conflicts that had accumulated over time. Sources close to the couple claim that friends and family have repeatedly suggested counseling, mediation, or therapy, but both Yandy and Mendeecees reportedly resisted, fearing exposure of their vulnerabilities to the public and to reality TV cameras. "They want to fix things privately," said one insider, "but the longer they wait, the more resentment builds, and the harder it becomes to untangle the mess." Friends described a sense of urgency, believing that if the couple continued down this path without help, the marriage could reach a point of no return. Rumors of explosive confrontations also spread within the reality TV circle. Other cast members reportedly witnessed moments of extreme tension during filming, when arguments nearly derailed entire scenes. Insiders claimed that at one point, production staff had to step in to calm the situation, as emotions escalated to the point where neither Yandy nor Mendeecees could focus on the cameras. "It was like watching a storm unfold," said a crew member. "You could feel the energy, the anger, and the hurt. Everyone was on edge, unsure what would happen next." The emotional roller coaster didn't stop at home or on set. Friends noted that social media interactions became a subtle battlefield. Yandy's posts about empowerment and self-care were interpreted by Mendeecees as criticisms or indirect attacks, while his occasional cryptic captions led Yandy to question his commitment and intentions. "It's like they're speaking to different languages," explained one insider. "Every message, every gesture is analyzed, and often misinterpreted. The toxicity feeds itself, growing larger each day." Fans noticed these subtleties too, sparking endless debates online about the true state of the marriage. Despite all the conflict, sources say that both parties held on to the marriage for the children and for the love they once shared. "They fight, they cry, they scream, but they also cling to each other," said a family friend. "It's this duality that makes the situation so complicated. Love and toxicity coexist in a way that's painful, yet powerful." The family, insiders claim, often felt torn, witnessing both the emotional pain and the rare, but precious, moments of reconciliation. As another week passed, tensions showed no sign of abating. Friends and insiders reported new disputes over scheduling, parenting decisions, and finances, each more intense than the last. "It's like living in a pressure cooker," said a source. Every day brings a new conflict, and you never know when it will explode. Fans continued to watch, speculate, and analyze, while Yandy and Mendeecees navigated the turbulent waters of a marriage that had become both a public spectacle and a private storm. The conflict between Yandy and Mendeecees only seemed to deepen as the months progressed. Insiders revealed that every minor disagreement had now evolved into full-blown arguments that could last for hours, leaving both parties emotionally drained. According to one source, Yandy often found herself walking on eggshells, carefully choosing her words to avoid triggering Mendeecees' temper, while he struggled to reconcile his frustration with his desire to maintain the image of a united front. The family atmosphere reportedly became tense, with friends and staff noting that even casual conversations could ignite conflict. "You could feel the tension in the air," said one insider. "It was like living in a storm that could erupt at any moment." The couple, who once thrived on collaboration and shared dreams, now faced constant friction that threatened to erode the foundation of their marriage. Financial disagreements reportedly became a major flashpoint. Yandy's various business ventures, from brand partnerships to real estate investments, sometimes clashed with Mendeecees' plans and expectations. According to insiders, arguments about money were not simply about finances but about respect and acknowledgement. Mendeecees allegedly felt excluded from key decisions, while Yandy claimed that she was working tirelessly to secure their family's future. "It wasn't just about dollars," said one source. "It was about trust and partnership, and when those feel compromised, resentment builds." Friends noted that these disputes often spiraled into personal attacks, with both parties bringing up past grievances and long-held frustrations. Parenting disagreements also contributed to the mounting tension. Yandy reportedly criticized Mendeecees for being too lenient with their children, while he claimed she was overly controlling and dismissive of his input. Insiders say that bedtime routines, homework, and even discipline strategies became battlegrounds, each argument more emotionally charged than the last. The children, while resilient, were said to be affected by the constant friction, sometimes withdrawing to their rooms or seeking comfort from friends and extended family. "They're aware of everything," said a family friend. "Kids pick up on more than adults realize, and it's taking a toll." In addition to internal conflicts, the couple faced external pressures from fans, friends, and fellow reality stars. Rumors, online speculation, and leaked conversations reportedly exacerbated the tension, with each party feeling judged or misrepresented. Insiders claimed that posts, captions, and public appearances were meticulously analyzed and often misinterpreted, creating an environment where every action carried potential for conflict. "They can't escape the scrutiny," said one source. "And when people insert themselves into private matters, it only fuels the drama." The couple's attempts to maintain privacy reportedly met with limited success, as fans and insiders alike continued to speculate on the true state of their relationship. At one point, a particularly explosive confrontation reportedly occurred over allegations of infidelity. Insiders claimed that past secrets and rumors resurfaced during a heated argument, resulting in emotional outbursts that left both Yandy and Mendeecees shaken. "It was intense," said one friend. "There were tears, shouting, and moments of silence that were almost unbearable. It was clear that the trust between them had been deeply shaken." The aftermath reportedly included attempts at reconciliation, with both parties expressing lingering love but also frustration at the unresolved issues. Friends and insiders emphasized that, despite the chaos, moments of tenderness still emerged. Quiet conversations, brief touches, and shared laughter occasionally reminded them of the bond that initially brought them together. "They love each other," said one source. "It's complicated, messy, and sometimes toxic, but there's still an undeniable connection." However, these fleeting moments were often overshadowed by renewed conflicts, creating a cycle of love, frustration, and reconciliation that defines the marriage. Social media continued to play a significant role in amplifying the tension. Yandy's posts about empowerment and self-care were sometimes perceived by Mendeecees as critiques, while his cryptic messages fueled speculation and misunderstanding. Insiders reported that this constant online scrutiny intensified existing conflicts, leaving both parties feeling pressured and misunderstood. "Every post, every comment, every like could trigger a new argument," said one friend. "It's exhausting and emotionally draining." Fans, meanwhile, engaged in relentless speculation, further complicating the couple's attempts to manage their private struggles. In a particularly dramatic turn, sources revealed that the couple had attempted temporary separation in an effort to gain perspective. Yandy reportedly stayed with a close friend for several days, but Mendeecees' resistance to the distance reportedly led to lengthy, emotionally charged confrontations. Neither could walk away completely, said one insider. They're tied together by love, history, and family. And that bond makes it nearly impossible to leave even when things get toxic. Friends noted that these attempts at separation often brought temporary clarity but also highlighted the depth of the unresolved issues. The cycle of conflict and reconciliation reportedly continued with new arguments about household responsibilities, scheduling, and decisions. Insiders said that even minor disagreements escalated due to the accumulation of past grievances. It's like every argument carries the weight of every argument before it, said one source. And when that weight builds up, it explodes in ways that are sometimes unpredictable. This dynamic left both Yandy and Mendeecees emotionally exhausted and uncertain about the future of their marriage. Additionally, sources claimed that the couple struggled with trust issues, which often fueled the intensity of their arguments. Past mistakes, miscommunications, and unspoken frustrations reportedly resurfaced during conflicts, creating cycles of suspicion and emotional turmoil. Friends described situations where small misunderstandings triggered disproportionate reactions, leaving both parties feeling attacked and misunderstood. Trust is fragile, said one insider, and once it's cracked, every interaction becomes a potential trigger for more conflict. Friends and insiders also highlighted the role of extended family in the escalating drama. Attempts to mediate or offer advice often had the opposite effect, intensifying arguments and deepening divisions. Well-meaning family members sometimes unknowingly add fuel to the fire, said one source. And when that happens, arguments can spiral out of control very quickly. This dynamic reportedly contributed to a sense of isolation for both Yandy and Mendeecees as they struggled to navigate personal and familial expectations alongside their own emotional challenges. According to insiders, the couple also faced moments of extreme emotional vulnerability. Yandy reportedly admitted feelings of frustration, isolation, and exhaustion, while Mendeecees expressed regret, anger, and confusion. These raw moments, though brief, highlighted the complexity of their relationship, a mixture of deep love, lingering resentment, and unresolved conflict. Friends noted that these vulnerabilities, while revealing, often preceded renewed arguments, underscoring the volatile nature of their interactions. Despite the intensity of the conflicts, sources emphasized that the couple remained committed to their children and to the idea of preserving the family unit. They fight, they cry, they scream, but they're still invested in making things work for the sake of their kids, said one insider. This commitment reportedly added another layer of complexity, as both parties navigated the tension between personal grievances and parental responsibility. Friends described a delicate balancing act, with moments of connection often interrupted by renewed conflict. Production sources claimed that filming on set became increasingly challenging as the emotional volatility spilled into professional environments. Arguments reportedly disrupted filming schedules, created tense atmospheres, and forced crew members to intervene in order to prevent further escalation. It was like walking on a tightrope every day, said one insider. Any small spark could ignite a massive argument, and the intensity was palpable. These professional challenges reportedly mirrored the private struggles the couple faced at home, creating a continuous cycle of tension and drama. Insiders revealed that both Yandy and Mendeecees occasionally sought guidance from friends, attempting to navigate the complex emotions and conflicts that dominated their lives. They both know they need help, said one source, but pride, public perception, and fear of exposure make it difficult for them to take the steps necessary to fully address the issues. This hesitation reportedly prolonged the cycle of arguments, leaving unresolved tension to fester and grow over time. Even as conflicts continued, friends emphasized that the couple's bond remained undeniable. Moments of intimacy, shared memories, and fleeting reconciliations reminded them and those close to them of the love that initially brought them together. It's messy, chaotic, and sometimes toxic, said one insider, but the connection is still there. That's why they can't simply walk away. The tension, therefore, existed alongside love, creating a complex and emotionally charged dynamic that captivated everyone around them. Rumors of potential reconciliations and flare-ups continued to circulate within the reality TV circle. Insiders claimed that even minor misunderstandings could escalate into hours-long confrontations, often fueled by past grievances and ongoing frustrations. It's a constant cycle, said one source. One argument leads to another, and the emotions just keep building. Friends noted that this cycle contributed to a sense of unpredictability, leaving everyone unsure of what the next day might bring in the tumultuous saga of Yandy and Mendeecees. Sources close to the couple reported that despite the chaos, both parties remained emotionally invested in preserving the marriage. Moments of vulnerability, shared laughter, and quiet reflection occasionally broke through the tension, providing glimpses of hope amidst the turmoil. They fight, they argue, but they also love each other, said one insider, and that love keeps them tied together, even when the toxicity threatens to pull them apart. Friends described these moments as fragile but significant, offering a window into the complex emotional landscape that defined the couple's relationship. As weeks turned into months, the emotional volatility reportedly intensified. Disagreements about finances, parenting, social media interactions, and personal grievances continued to escalate, leaving both Yandy and Mendeecees emotionally exhausted. Friends noted that the intensity of their arguments, combined with the scrutiny of fans and the pressures of public life, created an environment where tension was nearly constant. "It's like living in a pressure cooker," said one source. "Every day brings a new conflict, and you never know when it will explode." Sources claimed that the couple occasionally attempted to pause and reflect on their relationship, seeking moments of clarity and understanding. These periods, however, were often brief, as unresolved issues and lingering resentments quickly resurfaced. Friends emphasized that the combination of love, history, and public pressure made it difficult for either party to fully disengage, perpetuating the cycle of conflict and reconciliation that had come to define their marriage. The continued volatility reportedly took a toll on everyone around them, including friends, family, and staff. Insiders noted that navigating interactions with Yandy and Mendeecees required extreme care, as even casual comments could be misinterpreted and lead to renewed conflict. "Everyone had to be careful," said one source. "It was a delicate balance, and the tension could be felt by anyone in the room." This external pressure, combined with the internal conflicts, created a complex and emotionally charged environment that extended beyond the couple themselves. As tensions continued to mount, friends reported new flashpoints emerging in the relationship. Disagreements over social events, business opportunities, and personal priorities fueled arguments, while old grievances and unresolved issues added layers of complexity. Insiders claimed that even small misunderstandings could escalate rapidly, resulting in emotionally charged confrontations that left both parties questioning the future of their marriage. Despite the chaos, moments of connection occasionally surfaced. Brief conversations, shared laughter, and gestures of care reminded both Yandy and Mendeecees, as well as those close to them, of the deep bond that had initially brought them together. "They love each other," said one insider, "but that love exists alongside toxicity, making every interaction a mix of passion, frustration, and unresolved emotion." These fleeting moments offered temporary reprieve, but did not resolve the underlying tensions that continued to dominate the relationship. Friends and insiders emphasized that the ongoing conflict, combined with public scrutiny and personal pressures, created an environment where every day was unpredictable. "You never knew what would trigger the next argument," said one source. "Every action, every word, every glance had the potential to ignite chaos." This volatility reportedly contributed to a sense of emotional exhaustion and uncertainty, leaving both Yandy and Mendeecees navigating a turbulent and unstable marital landscape. The intensity of Yandy and Mendeecees' conflicts reached new heights as the couple navigated both private turmoil and public scrutiny. According to sources, arguments now frequently spilled over into social media, where fans dissected every post, caption, and interaction. Yandy's seemingly casual motivational messages were sometimes interpreted by Mendeecees as subtle critiques, while his cryptic captions fueled speculation that he was airing grievances publicly. Insiders noted that this dynamic created a feedback loop, where private tension fueled online speculation, which in turn reignited private conflicts. "It's like living in a pressure cooker," said one friend. Every day, every comment, every interaction could spark a new argument, and they were constantly on edge. Financial disagreements reportedly became more pronounced, with Yandy's growing business ventures clashing with Mendeecees' expectations and plans. Insiders revealed that while Yandy worked tirelessly to secure the family's financial future, Mendeecees often felt excluded or undermined. One source said, "It wasn't just about the money, it was about respect, trust, and partnership." He felt left out, and she felt criticized for trying to build stability. Arguments about money, according to insiders, were often highly emotional, spilling into personal attacks that dug up past grievances. Parenting continued to be a major battleground. Sources revealed that Yandy and Mendeecees frequently disagreed on discipline, schedules, and how to handle their children's needs. Yandy allegedly felt that Mendeecees was too lenient and lacked structure, while he felt she was overbearing and dismissive of his opinions. Minor conflicts over homework, bedtime, or activities reportedly escalated quickly into arguments filled with tension, tears, and frustration. "The kids felt it," said a family friend. "You could see them withdrawing at times, and that weighed on both parents." Friends and insiders reported that the couple's inner circle sometimes exacerbated tensions, either intentionally or inadvertently. Past acquaintances, friends, or fellow reality TV personalities occasionally reignited conflicts by sharing opinions, revealing rumors, or simply commenting on social media posts. "It's like poking a hornet's nest," one insider explained. Even a small comment or rumor could trigger a major fight. Yandy and Mendeecees reportedly found it increasingly difficult to separate outside influence from their own personal conflicts, leading to heightened stress and emotional volatility. A particularly dramatic confrontation reportedly occurred when a past grievance resurfaced regarding old friendships and trust issues. Insiders claimed that the argument involved long-held secrets, miscommunications, and emotional vulnerability. Yandy allegedly expressed frustration at feeling undervalued and unheard, while Mendeecees admitted feeling disconnected and betrayed. "The tension was almost tangible," said one source. "It was one of those arguments where both people were emotionally raw, and nothing seemed to calm the situation." The confrontation reportedly ended with both parties emotionally exhausted but still unwilling to disengage their connection to each other and to their children, preventing any permanent separation. Sources indicated that the couple occasionally attempted temporary separations, hoping space would provide clarity. Yandy reportedly spent several nights at a close friend's home, while Mendeecees remained in the family house. These periods of distance, however, often led to tense phone calls and emotionally charged confrontations. "Neither could completely walk away," said one insider. "Their love and history tied them together, making it impossible to escape completely." Friends noted that these brief separations offered temporary insight, but underlying resentment and unresolved issues quickly resurfaced, continuing the cycle of tension and conflict. Production insiders reported that filming on set became increasingly challenging. Yandy and Mendeecees' private tension reportedly spilled into professional environments, disrupting schedules and creating a charged atmosphere. Arguments occasionally escalated during filming, forcing crew members to intervene and manage the emotional intensity. "Working with them was like walking on a tightrope," said one insider. "You never knew what would trigger the next emotional outburst." The combination of private and professional stress reportedly left both parties drained and heightened the unpredictability of their interactions. Friends described the emotional complexity of the couple's relationship as a mixture of deep love, frustration, and unresolved resentment. Insiders revealed moments where both Yandy and Mendeecees acknowledged their love for each other, even amid intense arguments. One friend said, "They fight, they cry, but they also care deeply. It's messy, yes, but it's real, and that makes it nearly impossible for them to walk away, no matter how toxic it gets." These moments, while rare, offered a glimpse into the enduring connection that complicated every conflict. Sources also revealed that arguments about household responsibilities became increasingly contentious. Scheduling, decision-making, and minor disagreements reportedly escalated into heated confrontations, often compounded by accumulated resentment from previous conflicts. Insiders claimed that even small disputes could rapidly spiral, leaving both parties emotionally vulnerable and exhausted. "The weight of everything builds up," said one source, "and when it explodes, it's intense and overwhelming." Friends noted that extended family sometimes attempted to mediate, but well-meaning interventions often exacerbated the situation. "Any suggestion or opinion could be misinterpreted," said one insider. "Instead of calming things down, it sometimes added fuel to the fire." This dynamic reportedly contributed to a sense of isolation for both Yandy and Mendeecees, as they struggled to navigate family expectations alongside their own emotional challenges. According to sources, social media continued to amplify tension. Fans dissected every post, comment, and interaction, often assigning meaning that neither Yandy nor Mendeecees intended. Insiders claimed that this constant scrutiny heightened stress and misunderstandings, creating a feedback loop that intensified private conflicts. "They couldn't win," said one insider. "Every action was analyzed, judged, and debated online, which only added to the pressure at home." Friends revealed that despite the ongoing turmoil, both Yandy and Mendeecees occasionally sought guidance from trusted confidants. These discussions often involved navigating emotions, relationship dynamics, and strategies to manage public perception. "They know they need help," said one insider. but pride and fear of exposure make it difficult for them to take concrete steps. As a result, cycles of unresolved tension persisted, keeping both parties locked in a cycle of conflict and temporary reconciliation. Insiders claimed that moments of emotional vulnerability occasionally broke through the tension. Yandy reportedly expressed feelings of frustration, isolation, and exhaustion, while Mendeecees acknowledged anger, regret, and confusion. These raw moments, though fleeting, highlighted the complicated emotional landscape that defined the marriage. Friends described these exchanges as both heartbreaking and revealing, showing the depth of connection that continued to bind them despite ongoing toxicity. Even with the chaos, both parties reportedly remained committed to preserving the marriage for the sake of their children. Friends emphasized that parental responsibility added another layer of complexity, as both Yandy and Mendeecees sought to balance their personal grievances with the need to maintain a stable family environment. They fight, they argue, but they still care about their kids, said one insider. That love keeps them from walking away completely. Rumors of reconciliation and flare-ups circulated within the reality TV community, with insiders claiming that even minor disagreements could escalate into prolonged conflicts. The emotional volatility is extreme, said one source. It doesn't take much to ignite a fight that can last hours or even days. This unpredictability, combined with public attention and internal pressures, created an environment where tension was nearly constant, leaving friends and family unsure of what might happen next. Sources reported that, despite the intense conflicts, both Yandy and Mendeecees retained moments of intimacy and connection. Shared laughter, gestures of care, and private conversations occasionally surfaced amidst the chaos. They love each other, said one insider, but that love exists alongside toxicity, making every interaction a mix of passion, frustration, and unresolved emotion. Friends noted that these fleeting moments offered temporary relief but did not resolve the deeper issues that continued to dominate the relationship. Insiders emphasized that the couple's ongoing conflicts, combined with public scrutiny and personal pressures, created a complex environment where every day was unpredictable. You never knew what would trigger the next argument, said one source. Every word, every action, every glance had the potential to escalate into something much bigger. This volatility reportedly left both Yandy and Mendeecees navigating a tumultuous marital landscape with few moments of peace. Friends claimed that the cycle of conflict and reconciliation persisted, with new disagreements arising alongside old grievances. Arguments over finances, parenting, household responsibilities, and social media interactions reportedly continued to fuel emotional tension. Insiders noted that the combination of personal, familial, and public pressures made resolution difficult, perpetuating the cycle of stress and volatility in the marriage. Despite the chaos, sources claimed that moments of connection occasionally reminded the couple of their enduring bond. Shared memories, fleeting gestures of intimacy, and quiet conversations provided glimpses of hope amid ongoing conflicts. They fight, they argue, but they still love each other, said one insider. That love keeps them tied together, even when the toxicity threatens to tear them apart. These moments, while fragile, underscored the complex interplay of love, frustration, and emotional intensity that defined the relationship. As months passed, insiders reported that the volatility continued unabated. Arguments over finances, parenting, public perception, and personal grievances reportedly intensified, leaving both Yandy and Mendeecees emotionally and mentally exhausted. Friends emphasized that the unpredictable nature of their interactions, combined with external scrutiny, created a relentless cycle of tension, conflict, and temporary reprieve, shaping the ongoing saga of a marriage caught between love and toxicity. The cycle of tension in Yandy and Mendeecees' marriage seemed unending, with each week bringing new conflicts and renewed emotional strain. Sources revealed that disagreements about day-to-day responsibilities escalated into arguments that lasted for hours, often leaving both parties emotionally drained. Insiders noted that even minor issues, such as scheduling, household chores, or social commitments, could trigger disproportionate reactions. It's like walking on a minefield, said one friend. You never know which step will set off an explosion. Friends described the environment at home as charged with unpredictability, where calm moments were fleeting and temporary reprieves were constantly interrupted by new disputes. Financial matters purportedly remained a persistent source of conflict. Yandy's various business ventures, including brand deals, real estate projects, and personal investments, sometimes clashed with Mendeecees' plans and expectations. Insiders claimed that these disagreements were less about money and more about control, respect, and acknowledgement. He felt left out of decisions he used to be part of, said one source. And she felt criticized for trying to secure the family's future. Friends added that these financial disputes often spilled over into personal attacks, further escalating the emotional intensity of arguments. Parenting disagreements continued to exacerbate tensions. Sources revealed that Yandy and Mendeecees frequently clashed over discipline, routines, and decision-making for their children. Yandy allegedly felt that Mendeecees was too lenient and inconsistent, while he felt she was overly controlling and dismissive of his input. Minor disagreements, such as homework, bedtime routines, or extracurricular activities, reportedly escalated into heated arguments filled with frustration, tears, and anger. Insiders noted that the children were aware of the tension, often withdrawing or seeking comfort elsewhere, further adding to the couple's emotional strain. The influence of external parties reportedly contributed to the chaos. Friends, former acquaintances, and fellow reality TV personalities occasionally fueled conflicts by sharing opinions, rumors, or social media commentary. Insiders claimed that even subtle remarks could ignite major arguments, creating a perpetual cycle of tension. It's like poking a hornet's nest, one source explained. Even the smallest comment or rumor could spiral into a major fight. The couple reportedly struggled to separate outside influence from their own personal conflicts, intensifying stress and emotional volatility. Sources revealed that old grievances and secrets resurfaced during particularly intense confrontations. Past misunderstandings, perceived betrayals, and lingering resentments were often brought to the forefront during arguments, leaving both Yandy and Mendeecees emotionally vulnerable. One friend claimed, the arguments were raw, intense, and filled with emotions that had been simmering for years. It wasn't just about the present, it was about every slight, every hurt, every unspoken frustration. These confrontations reportedly left both parties exhausted, yet neither could fully disengage, bound by love, history, and family obligations. Temporary separations were occasionally attempted in hopes of gaining clarity, but these moments often led to heightened tension. Yandy reportedly stayed with a close friend for several nights, while Mendeecees remained in the family home. During this time, emotionally charged phone calls and confrontations were said to occur, reflecting the difficulty of establishing distance without intensifying conflict. Insiders claimed that neither could fully walk away due to their love for each other, their children, and the life they had built, making temporary separations both necessary and complicated. Production insiders reported that filming on set became increasingly difficult due to the couple's volatile dynamic. Arguments frequently disrupted schedules, created tense atmospheres, and required intervention from crew members. Working with them was a challenge, said one source. You never knew what would trigger an argument or emotional outburst, and it was exhausting for everyone involved. These professional challenges mirrored the private struggles they faced at home, reinforcing the pervasive cycle of tension and unpredictability. Friends emphasized that moments of emotional vulnerability occasionally broke through the tension, highlighting the complexity of the relationship. Yandy reportedly expressed feelings of exhaustion, frustration, and isolation, while Mendeecees admitted to anger, regret, and confusion. These raw exchanges, though brief, provided insight into the depth of their connection and the emotional intensity that defined the marriage. Insiders described these moments as both heartbreaking and revealing, showing that love persisted despite ongoing toxicity. Conflicts over household responsibilities, scheduling, and personal priorities reportedly continued to escalate. Minor disagreements frequently spiraled into heated arguments, compounded by accumulated resentments from past conflicts. Insiders claimed that even seemingly trivial issues had the potential to trigger hours-long confrontations, leaving both Yandy and Mendeecees emotionally exhausted. Friends noted that this relentless cycle created a tense environment, where calm moments were fleeting and resolution remained elusive. Social media reportedly intensified the situation, with fans and observers scrutinizing every post, comment, and interaction. Yandy's messages about empowerment and self-care were occasionally interpreted by Mendeecees as indirect criticism, while his cryptic posts fueled speculation about his intentions. Insiders claimed that this constant attention created pressure, misunderstanding, and misinterpretation, further inflaming private disputes. They couldn't win, said one source. Every action was analyzed and debated, and the scrutiny added to the tension at home. Friends claimed that both Yandy and Mendeecees occasionally sought counsel from trusted confidants, attempting to navigate their complex emotions and ongoing conflicts. Despite these efforts, pride, public scrutiny, and fear of exposure reportedly prevented them from fully addressing the underlying issues. Insiders suggested that this hesitation perpetuated the cycle of unresolved tension, leaving both parties caught in a loop of conflict, temporary reconciliation, and renewed arguments. Emotional vulnerability reportedly surfaced in several intense conversations, with both parties admitting lingering doubts and frustrations. Yandy allegedly expressed feelings of isolation and exhaustion, while Mendeecees acknowledged anger, confusion, and regret. Friends described these moments as raw and revealing, demonstrating the duality of love and toxicity that defined their marriage. Insiders emphasized that while these exchanges highlighted the depth of connection, they rarely led to long-term resolution. The couple reportedly remained committed to preserving their marriage for the sake of their children. Friends claimed that parental responsibility added a layer of complexity, forcing both Yandy and Mendeecees to balance personal grievances with the need to maintain a stable family environment. Insiders emphasized that their commitment to the children prevented them from walking away completely. Even as arguments and tension persisted, rumors of potential reconciliations and renewed conflicts circulated constantly. Insiders claimed that minor disagreements could escalate into prolonged disputes, fueled by past grievances, miscommunications, and external pressures. "It's a cycle that never ends," said one source, "and every argument, every flare-up, keeps the tension alive." Friends noted that the unpredictability and emotional intensity made daily life for both Yandy and Mendeecees and everyone around them extraordinarily challenging. Despite ongoing conflicts, moments of connection occasionally reminded the couple of their enduring bond. Shared memories, quiet conversations, and fleeting gestures of care provided temporary reprieve amidst persistent tension. Friends described these moments as fragile yet significant, offering insight into the emotional complexity of a relationship defined by both love and toxicity. "They fight, they argue, but they still love each other," said one insider. "That love keeps them tied together, even when everything else feels like chaos." Insiders claimed that the combination of private tension, public scrutiny, and ongoing personal pressures created a relentless cycle of emotional volatility. Friends emphasized that every day carried the potential for conflict, with seemingly trivial incidents escalating into hours-long arguments. The unpredictability of this dynamic reportedly left both Yandy and Mendeecees navigating a marriage fraught with stress, passion, and unresolved emotional conflict. Friends reported that cycles of conflict and reconciliation persisted, with new disagreements arising alongside old grievances. Arguments about finances, parenting, household responsibilities, and public perception reportedly continued to dominate the couple's daily lives. Insiders emphasized that the interplay of personal, familial, and public pressures made lasting resolution difficult, perpetuating a cycle of tension that defined the ongoing saga of Yandy and Mendeecees' marriage. Despite the chaos, fleeting moments of connection occasionally surfaced, reminding both the couple and those close to them of the deep bond that initially brought them together. Friends claimed that shared memories, intimate gestures, and quiet conversations provided temporary relief from the tension, though the underlying conflicts persisted. Insiders described these moments as delicate but meaningful, offering hope amid the ongoing turmoil. As months passed, insiders reported that arguments continued to escalate, fueled by unresolved grievances, financial disputes, parenting disagreements, and social media speculation. Friends emphasized that the unpredictability of each day created a constant state of tension, leaving both Yandy and Mendeecees emotionally exhausted. "It's like walking through a storm that never ends," said one source. "You never know when the next argument will erupt, and that uncertainty is exhausting for everyone involved." So now that you've seen just how intense and chaotic Yandy and Mendeecees' marriage has become, it's hard not to wonder what the future holds for them. Will they finally find a way to reconcile? Or is this toxic cycle destined to continue, pulling them further apart with each passing argument? The drama, the secrets, the emotional highs and lows. Fans are left on the edge of their seats, questioning every post, every interaction, and every decision. What we do know is that this isn't just a story of conflict. It's a story of love, resilience, and the challenges of maintaining a family in the harsh spotlight of public scrutiny. Your thoughts could make all the difference in this conversation. What do you think Yandy and Mendeecees should do next? Should they fight for their marriage? Or is it time to finally step away? Drop your opinions in the comments. Let us know how you feel, and join the discussion because every voice counts. If you want more exclusive insights, shocking updates, and behind-the-scenes drama like this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, And turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of the chaos, the love, and the drama that keeps everyone talking. This story is far from over, and your engagement is part of the journey. Share your theories, react to the twists, and keep the conversation alive, because in a saga this explosive, your voice matters just as much as the drama itself.